Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another market breakdown. It is Monday, November 17th. So we are making our way towards the end of the year. Super exciting. We got Thanksgiving coming up. I know it's more of an American holiday, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, actually, I don't even think I'll be at home for Thanksgiving this year. Yeah, I'll be traveling. Um, all right, let's go ahead and begin. The one trade that I'm currently in is NZD USD. NZD USD on the weekly time frame is currently bearish. On the daily time frame, it is currently bearish, and on the 4-hour time frame, it is currently bullish. So we have this higher high right here. Now, one thing that I noticed as I was going through these time frames is the way that price reacts on a daily time frame. Like we have these daily pullbacks, daily pullback, daily pullback, daily pullback. And what I noticed is before we get selling, and this might just be like a random, like it could be completely random, right? But you notice how we have this bearish candle here, and then we have a bullish engulfing candle, right? And then we're kind of stuck not knowing it's like it's in between buys and sells at this point. And this happens almost every single time. Like you'll notice here, bearish, bullish engulfing, bearish candle, bullish engulfing candle. Now what happens is we usually get two candles in a row after that pullback candle. So you have, this is your doji, two bullish candles, pullback candle, two bullish candles, pullback candle, two bullish candles, doji, two bullish candles, doji, two bullish candles. So, I mean, that's a pattern that I'm noticing. I'm not sure if that's always valid, but I have seen it right before the sellers come into the market. Usually get 2 days of buying right after that indecision candle. So I think that might be where we're at. We might be pushing to get that second day of buying. And obviously, that could lead to even more buying afterwards. What I'm trying to get at is that this entry was very early, and there is chance that price continues to press higher. The reason that I entered is because of my confluences, which is we have a daily area of interest, right? We have a bunch of structures here, previous wick structure right there. So that's on the daily time frame. We have a daily area of interest. Weekly time frame, we're retesting the previous weekly wick. So we're retesting previous structure. Daily time frame, that's basically the only confluence we're getting right now as well, retesting previous structure. Like I mentioned before the call started, if we close with a bearish rejection candle, like we can't count a bullish engulfing candle as a rejection candle. That's not how it works. Unless it's a bullish engulfing doji, which rarely happens. Like I don't even know where we could, like this. This is a rejection candle and it is a bullish candle, right? Um, Other than that, what we need is a bearish candle like this, an engulfing, 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 right? So that would be your daily rejection candle. So if you're not in this trade, don't rush into it. There's no rush at all. If you miss it, you miss it. But in terms of hopping in just because I'm in the trade, that doesn't make sense, right? Next is the 4-hour time frame. We're currently bullish on the 4-hour time frame. We basically have a double top right here. So we have a pattern. We're retesting this previous structure. We already have retested it pretty aggressively. We retested the area of interest and we are retesting this EMA. Now, the reason I'm considering this a retest of the EMA is because we broke below it and we kind of retested it to potentially continue to sell. Okay. And then last but not least, you have this 4-hour candlestick rejection, which is pretty obvious. On top of everything, you basically have a 30-minute shift the structure, or no, we're below the 30-minute EMA. That's what that was. We're below the 30-minute EMA. There's no shift the structure yet. We were bearish, but then we went bullish right here. And then we have our 15-minute bearish engulfing candle, after which I sent a signal for this trade. So we have basically price broke underneath the EMA, retested it, and engulfed. And then about 30 minutes later, I sent a signal after seeing basically lower time frames having pullbacks, lower low, pullback, lower low. And at this point, we're basically pulling back pretty consistently at the point that we are. Now, like I said, there's no rush to hop into this trade. In fact, if I do take a loss, I will still re-enter maybe a day or two later. And if this does head in our direction, I might even consider sending a second signal to kind of scale into the trade a little bit more, or maybe just take a trade on some of these other pairs that are also going to be moving very, very similarly, so we can diversify our risk a little bit there. So that is the trade that we have taken. Now let's get into some of these pairs. Bitcoin reached a staggering 32K or 33K, or no, 33. What am I talking about? $93,000. Closed underneath the EMA, fully closed underneath the EMA. There's no doubt about it. At this point, two things can happen. This is either a fake out, which would be surprising to see, or price is about to retest the EMA, maybe retest this area of interest to continue to sell. Now, this area of interest can be adjusted. So you have your first structure point, second structure point, third structure point right there. So there's your area of interest. One on the top, one at the bottom, one in the middle. Perfect, exactly how I like it. Next is the daily time frame. We're currently very, very far off of the daily EMA, which basically means that we're not going to be seeing any buyers until price manages to break above, retest to buy, right? There has to be a very clean break above, a very clean retest, and a clean buy. As of right now, our best option is probably going to be a pullback into this area of interest, into this previous structure, into this EMA, and then a continuation to the downside. That's simply what the price action and market structure is telling me right now. That's the Bitcoin breakdown. I've heard many different opinions from traders, from investors, and everyone's opinion is different. I can't remember who was it. Even Andrew Tate is talking about Bitcoin. You know, that's how you know that we've reached the high of the market. Now, what he's saying is that it's reaching 23,000. I don't think it's going to go that low, but I do think that since we're underneath the EMA, we're probably going to see more sellers, and more sellers could only mean that we're basically going to be retesting previous structures. Now, the next previous structure on Bitcoin is going to be, like, we've already broken through this previous structure. So the next previous structure is going to be this one in terms of actual market structure. Now, there is internal market structure, like this previous structure right here. That could be a profit target for you to aim for. And if not, if it breaks through this, then you're basically aiming at this down here around $72,000. Okay. Next is SPX. I'm going to actually delete this. Oh, whatever, we'll leave it. Next is SPX, weekly time frame. Now, market hasn't opened for the US, for the New York Stock Exchange. So we have about 2 hours or maybe an hour until that happens. So we close with the weekly doji. I think that our analysis on this one remains the same. We haven't changed since yesterday. And that would basically be a break and retest above the EMA on the 4-hour time frame, or whichever time frame you prefer for buys. Same thing here, break and retest above the 4-hour EMA for buys, break and retest above the 4-hour EMA for buys. Now, if that doesn't happen, we can pull back into the 4-hour EMA and then sell, similar to the way we did right here. So we broke below, retested, sold, short term, obviously. In terms of long-term sells, that would have to happen underneath the daily EMA right here. And then you're selling for multiple days. At this moment, you're selling for a series of hours, not a series of days. So that's basically the same thing for all three of those, SPX, NASDAQ, and US 30. And then we head on to gold. So gold, on the weekly time frame has a lot of wick to fill. But this is also a pretty strong rejection candle. I was doing a little bit of previous data analysis on this pair. But yeah, so weekly time frame, daily time frame is currently has a double bottom, retesting this neckline. 4-hour time frame is still stuck under this EMA. Now, I do believe that we could very easily break and retest back above the EMA to continue to buy. But most important for me is the 2-hour EMA in terms of longer term buys on gold. Basically, at the moment, we're pretty far away from this 2-hour EMA. Price needs to catch up, or the EMA needs to catch up to price. And that could happen by having a proper break and retest above the 4-hour, or we might reject the 4-hour and continue to trade sideways until the EMA catches up. And then at that point, we will actually get the full break and retest above the EMA and have a continuation to the upside. So that is basically everything right now. We're basically just trading sideways and downwards. I'm not super experienced in trading gold. I mainly just scalp it. And that's it for gold. Dollar index. The dollar index weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is currently bearish. So we've had 2 selling weeks in a row, and it seems like we've pulled back into the area of interest one more time. I think this could be a nice opportunity to catch some sells. Daily time frame is currently still bullish, and the 4-hour time frame is currently also bullish. Now we are retesting the 4-hour EMA right now. And that could lead us to some selling, potentially some more selling alongside Euro USD. Or no, Euro USD is going to be inverted. It's going to be USD CHF. So USD CHF looks very, very similar to this dollar index. Not identical, but very similar in terms of market structure. And my entire analysis has shifted on USD CHF to selling after the very, very bearish week that we had. So daily time frame here shifted bearish. So I do think that the dollar index will probably follow along in those lines. And if it does manage to break and retest very cleanly above this area, then, obviously the buys could happen, but nothing there is guaranteed. So trading with the trend, at the moment, the trend is bullish with 2 time frames in sync, but you could very, very easily get a nice higher high, shift the structure, and continuation to the downside from where we are. So you have 2 options to trade this. All right, now into the good stuff, into the actual Forex pairs. We already went over NZD USD. Looks like we're getting a rejection from that 30-minute EMA right now. That could be nice for a continuation to the downside. If not, what you could enter off of if you're looking for more confirmation is waiting for a daily bearish candle. It doesn't have to be engulfing. It can be as simple as one of these candles right here. Just one daily bearish candle could begin an entire sequence of them. Okay, so just wait for the daily to close, and then you'll have your answer as to whether price is ready or not. GBP CAD. GBP CAD is one that we were interested in buying. Specifically, okay, so yesterday when we were doing our analysis, my TCT wasn't updated, so it wasn't on my screen. Therefore, we do not have any notes on what we were looking for. But how I explained it was the daily time frame had shifted bullish, and we had the pullback or the correction on that daily time frame. Now, since we shifted bullish above this structure, anything above this structure could be considered okay for buying. Okay, so what we had was an engulfing candle confirming that this bullish continuation is going to happen. And then we had this daily pullback, which was basically a retest of the 4-hour EMA. At this point, you could have taken this trade in a few different ways. I think it's already on its way to take profit, so I probably wouldn't enter it myself. Daily time frame. So yeah, weekly time frame is currently bearish. Daily time frame is currently bullish, and 4-hour time frame is currently also bullish. So there you have it. You have your two time frames in sync. You have market structure on the daily time frame. You have your double bottom, or you have a 4-hour 4-hour shift of the EMA retest. I mean, there's a bunch of confluences here to take this trade. And then your entry signal is a shift above. Like for your entry confluences, you have one, prices above this 4-hour EMA. Two, it's above the 30-minute EMA. Three, you have a shift of structure on, well, technically, let's see, 1 hour doesn't count. 30-minute does count. So you have a 30-minute shift of structure. Yeah. Lower low, lower low. Yeah, so you have a 30-minute shift of structure, and then you have your pullback, and then obviously your lower time frames, which could just be 30-minute doji or even your 1 hour engulfing there. But in terms of entries, you have almost 50% worth of confluence for a good entry there. GBP CAD, as of right now, sure, you could maybe look to take another trade here. You have this internal 4-hour area of interest. We could even tighten it up a little bit right there. You have 1, 2, 3 structure points right there, a couple wicks. For this, you have a 2-hour inverted head and shoulders. So your shoulder, head, shoulder right there, or a triple bottom, whatever you want to call it. You could wait for a pullback into those structures to buy. I think that could be a potential, a good potential trade. And you could target one, I would target the EMA, which is pretty close to where price is, but two, it would be this daily structure. And then obviously, since we're trading on this internal range right now, where price basically bounces around top to bottom, and we just reached the bottom, so the next target point will be at the very top. So basically, I have three take profits as it stands. I want to keep an eye on this one. I don't necessarily think I'm going to trade it, but I do want to see what's going to happen there. Next is EuroCAD. Weekly time frame is bearish. Daily time frame is currently bullish, and 4-hour time frame is currently bullish. So you have two time frames that are bullish. You have market structure, which is setting up with a shoulder, head, shoulder. This right here would count as a retest of the neckline, paired with the fact that we are retesting the 4-hour EMA as of right now. Any kind of shift of structure, shift above the EMA here, I would probably go with the 1-hour EMA, maybe the 30-minute, depending on how you feel about it. But realistically, a proper break and retest above the 1-hour EMA should give you what you need in order to take this buy. Excuse me. That's what I'll be looking for on EuroCAD. After that, we will have, let's see. Yeah, market structure is very, very bullish. After that, we have NZD CAD. NZD CAD on a weekly time frame is not bullish, it is bearish. Daily time frame is having a daily pullback into the area of interest, which is also previous structure. 4-hour time frame is currently struggling. It looks like it wants to break back underneath this EMA. In fact, it looks identical to NZD USD on the 4-hour time frame. Almost. This pullback looks identical. But yeah, as of right now, we're kind of at the point where we could have one more day of pulling back, but we could also start our selling from here. Seems like price is retesting this EMA very, very strongly. We could even draw a trend line straight up this way, and you can visualize how price is trading. All you're waiting for, just like on NZD USD, all you're waiting for is a proper break retest underneath to sell. There's really not much more to go over on this one. It is very clean, I think. Now, if you wake up, let's say tomorrow, and the daily candle closes with a bearish engulfing, that would basically look like a few 4-hour candles that have sold. And then all you have to wait for is the daily wick tomorrow to be created, which would be a pullback on the 4-hour or lower time frames, and then you can enter off of an engulfing. That's why it's really cool to trade rejection candles, because they usually signify that the move has already begun, and now you're just trying to hop on the ride and catch the rest of the move. All right, USD CAD. USD CAD on the weekly time frame is currently bullish. On the daily time frame, it is currently bullish, and on the 4-hour time frame, it is currently bullish. So you have 3 time frames in sync to buy. The one thing that was concerning to me about this one is the fact that we were kind of struggling to break above this 4-hour EMA. Now we have broken above the 1-hour pretty successfully, and you can see how price usually trades above or underneath this 1-hour time frame very, very decently and consistently. Now, this is also a USD pair, which gives me more of a, excuse me, there's somebody at my door. I'm gonna go and see who it is. One moment. Okay, USD CAD. Yeah, so USD CAD is basically in the middle of a continuation at the moment. Once again, what you'll see often is you'll see when you have a reaction candle, there's 2 things that can happen, right? Or 3 things that can happen. One, you have your bullish engulfing candle, and then it ends up hitting an EMA, and then you get a reversal that happens, okay? That's option number 1. It was a fake out. Option number 2 is you have your engulfing candle, and then you have your continuation, just straight up without any sort of pullbacks or anything. And option number 3 is you have your engulfing candle, and then you have a pullback candle, and then your continuation happens right after that, okay? I think that we're currently experiencing option number 3, where we've had the bullish engulfing candle, then we had our pullback candle, which is a daily bearish candle. And after this, we can expect or hope for a continuation on the daily time frame. Now, that expectation has to be paired with other confluences, obviously, such as, in our case, it is a shift of structure on the 4-hour time frame. It is a shift above the 1-hour EMA, a reaction from the 1-hour EMA, and basically engulfing candles supporting this idea of a continuation, okay? And that's basically what I have as an expectation for USD CAD. Now, if you're still unsure or you want proper confirmation, what you could wait for, and I think is also a very strong possibility, is a break and retest above this area right here. So you have price breaks above, retest this head and shoulders. You have your shoulder, you have your head, you have your other shoulder, break, retest, buy. Wow, that was confusing. But you guys get the general idea, right? So you have shoulder, head, shoulder, break above, retest the neckline, retest the area of interest, retest the EMA, and then you buy. Now, this would go or coincide with the idea of breaking through this EMA, retesting it, and selling. That would go hand in hand because these are both USD pairs. All right, next is AUD USD. AUD USD and NZD USD move very, very closely, but not identically. Okay, so weekly time frame is bearish, daily time frame is bearish. We have the pullback, we have the sell. Now this sell is similar to the sell we have on NZD USD. We took them both at the same time. Now we have reached this daily EMA, and we have our rejection candle, we have our pullback candle, and now we're starting to get our continuation to the downside. The only thing that is currently preventing us from doing that, I guess, is this internal area of interest right here. So you have basically this area where price has rejected multiple times in the past, both to the downside and to the upside right here. So I think that once price successfully breaks through this area of interest, we could potentially get a retest of this neckline for the head and shoulders, and then a continuation to the downside. So that could be something that you look for, a break, retest of the EMA, of the area of interest to sell. Okay. Next is GBP USD, another USD pair, but this one isn't moving the same as the other ones. The other ones are starting to sell. This one is having a bullish continuation or a bullish push. On the weekly time frame, we're trapped underneath this weekly EMA. Okay, so we broke through and we've pulled back for 2 weeks without breaking above. Daily time frame, we are also bearish. We have a pullback into the previous structures right here. EMA is still pretty far away, and then the 4-hour time frame is currently bullish. Okay, so the 4-hour time frame is bullish from right here up to here. Now, we also have this type of trend line that you could follow if you need to visualize what's happening. But what we want to see is we want to see price break underneath the EMA, retest these previous structures. There's this internal area of interest right here. So that could be called a 4-hour area of interest. And then retest the EMA to sell. That's basically it for GBP USD. AUD CHF. AUD CHF weekly time frame is currently bearish, so very bearish for a long time. Daily time frame is currently also bearish, so we are bearish from here down to here. 4-hour time frame is currently bullish. So the 4-hour time frame has shifted bullish, and it seems like we have retested this previous structure right here to have a potential pullback on the daily time frame, which I do think is overdue. I think that we're going to actually push up into this previous structure, into this area of interest, into the EMA, in order to have a continuation to the downside, similar to the way we did right here. So we sold, I mean, literally into the same area. Look at this. We sold into this area, sold into this area, daily pullback, sold, daily pullback, sold. So we don't want to hop into that prematurely, especially after seeing this type of a bullish push. That is a little bit scary to see. Usually you want price to look a little bit more like this, where it's consistent. You see, when you get this huge bullish push, you usually have a continuation, and then you have price slowing down, and then you have price turning around, pullback, continuation. So if you don't want to hop in up here, you can hop in down here, and you basically get a very, very close entry. So right now, all we're waiting for is price to climb up, climb up, climb up, slow down, turn around, pull back, sell. And that's what we're going to be waiting for on AUD CHF. After this, we can get into the other pairs that we have on our list, starting with GBP NZD. Okay, GBP NZD on a weekly time frame, it is bullish. On the daily time frame, it is bearish. And on the 4-hour time frame, it is bullish. So you have two time frames that are bullish. We've kind of broken above the EMA, retested the area of interest, retested the EMA, and are now seeing some buyers entering this market. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the market structure on this pair. Your stop losses end up being quite large. And as of right now, we're pretty close to being at the all-time high, maybe 1 week away or so. So if you want to catch some buys on this pair for this week, feel free to do that. I'm personally all right, and I'm not interested. Next is Euro USD, another USD pair. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bearish. We have had a reaction from the EMA. So daily time frame is bearish. 4-hour time frame is currently bullish. So you have two bullish time frames and one bearish time frame. I had basically said that if you want to take buys, you can take buys once the daily time frame shifts bullish. And if you want to take sells, then you have to wait for the 4-hour time frame to shift bearish underneath the EMA, underneath the area of interest, similar to the way it did right here, and then have a pullback, retest to sell. So those are your two options for Euro USD. I'm not interested personally. Next is AUD USD. Now, for a lot of these, you'll hear me say, I'm not interested. That's simply because I already have my plate full. Like, I'm not trying to force feed myself, say, oh, look at all these amazing opportunities, when in reality, I already have more than enough. Euro USD is one that I would technically be interested in because it is very, very clean. You know exactly what you're looking for. Price isn't choppy, it's trending downwards. All you're waiting for is that break and retest. So why not? Why not take the sells when they present themselves, not instantly? I know some of you guys are itching to trade. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is currently bearish. So bullish, bearish. 4-hour time frame is currently bullish. So as of right now, I don't like the fact that we're moving sideways. We're not creating higher highs. We're not creating lower lows. We're just moving sideways. Not interested. Here, same thing almost. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bearish, and 4-hour time frame is bearish. Unfortunately, same thing. Super choppy. Not interested. GJ, as expected, creating those new highs or pushing up higher. Broke above the EMA, retested, and is having a nice push at the higher high or almost at the higher high. Not interested. Similar to all JPY pairs, we're at the higher high. We're waiting for a daily pullback. If this could give us a daily pullback into these previous structures, you 100% can bet that I'm going to be interested in taking this trade. But as of right now, we're at the higher high, at the higher high. This one, same thing, basically at the higher high there. What I'm looking for is a proper daily pullback, similar to this one, proper daily pullback, and then you have your continuation. Right now, we're setting up to have a pullback, but we haven't confirmed anything just yet. So yeah, JPY pairs are kind of not my cup of tea right now. This one moving sideways, not interested. Euro NZD, daily time frame last week had a bearish engulfing candle. So weekly time frame is bullish, daily time frame is bearish, and 4-hour time frame is currently bullish. As of right now, I could see you guys taking some buys, as unfortunately your buys are limited to this market structure, to the higher high right here. What I think is happening is price is kind of moving sideways, similar to the way it did right here or right here. Waiting for two things, mainly for the EMA to catch up so it can do one of two things, which is take off to the upside. From here, we could just, boom, take off to the upside, or to shift below, retest, and sell. That is your second option. For this pair, as of right now, I'm not interested. nearing the bottom of our list. GBP AUD. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bullish. Very clean as well. We had the shift to structure, the pullback. Pullback was a little bit extensive. Not my favorite, but price is it is doing what it's doing. It's having that continuation. Not interested at the moment, but it's good to see that what we broke down ended up working out. So weekly time frame bullish, daily time frame has shifted bullish, and 4-hour time frame is currently still bearish, unfortunately. All right. Not interested. Euro CHF weekly time frame had a bearish engulfing. We are bearish. Daily time frame. Daily time frame has a lower low. We're just waiting for the daily pullback into previous structures. This one tends to be a bit choppy, but I could see us breaking out of that chop if we're able to have a clean retest to sell. As of right now, I'm not interested because we still need that daily pullback on the CHF there. CHF here, CAD CHF, same thing, waiting for the daily pullback to continue to sell. Daily pullback to sell into previous, daily pullback into previous structure to sell, daily pullback into EMA to sell. So we're basically waiting on all of those pullbacks here, daily pullback into previous structure to sell. And you'll notice that we're not ready to sell because we're currently trading above an EMA that is very, very dominant for price. So it really holds price up or it holds price down. And as of right now, we're holding price up, right? And another, if you don't know if price is ready to sell on NZD CHF, for example, take a look at your other CHF pairs. Is this one ready to sell? Is this one ready to sell? If the answer is no for the majority of them, then you shouldn't be taking sells on the one pair that looks like it's ready to sell, right? So for our example, on these USD pairs, right? NZD USD looks like it's ready to sell. USD CAD looks like it's ready to buy. AUD USD looks like it's ready to sell. But GBP USD doesn't, So it's like here, the majority is ready, and then one of them isn't. So this one is lagging behind. In fact, if these ones take off, you could probably expect this one to follow along shortly after, maybe a day later. Maybe today this is going to be the rejection candle, and then tomorrow we're going to get the continuation. So same thing with the JPY pairs. Most of them are going to follow each other. That's why I have them all stacked up next to each other. That's why most of the pairs that we're trading this week are either USD pairs or CAD pairs. Same exact thing. So this CHF pair, the only reason I have it here is because I was interested in seeing potential counter trend trades on it, I think. So we had the shift to structure and you could potentially take sells into this area. But ultimately, I was looking to take a continuation to the downside alongside with the other CHF pairs, which aren't ready yet. So that's why it's at the bottom of the list. And that's why we're waiting for the daily pullback to happen into previous structure. Super clean, super nice. Euro CHF could be for CTT. What is CTT? I feel like I'm a little bit slow. Counter trend trade. Oh, okay, never mind. See, I caught on before you told me. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Most of these are probably going to have that pullback. As you can see, this one already has your daily rejection candle. So next thing you need is just that pullback. And it's already almost guaranteed that it's going to happen, Market structure is very, very similar overall on this pair. All right, now let's get into these last two Forex pairs. Euro GBP weekly time frame is bullish, daily time frame is bullish, and 4-hour time frame is currently bearish. So you have a shift of structure, you have your head and shoulders pattern. Price is currently pulling back into what I would like to see it pull back into the weekly area of interest. It's not an area of interest. It's mostly, well, I guess it could be an area of interest. Let's see. I mean, if you drag price far back enough, it's going to be an area of interest, right? I would prefer something like this, maybe. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure points. Yeah, that's pretty good. And it contains these wicks as well. So here's your area of interest for waiting for price to return to. Once price comes into this area of interest, then we'll consider taking buys. Now, once price does get to the area of interest, we're probably going to see something like this happen, where price jumps around for quite a while, for a few days, and then eventually will break above the EMA, retest, buy, retest, buy. If you miss this retest buy, then you can hop in on this one, which is simply a retest of these equal highs, and then you have your continuation to the upside. So yeah. All right. On to the last one, AUD NZD. AUD NZD weekly time frame is currently bullish. Daily time frame is currently bullish, and 4-hour time frame is currently bearish. So also a bit mixed opinions, mixed trends. I'm waiting for the daily pullback into this previous structure to take buys. Until that happens, I'm not interested. So our list really remains the same. I don't think we really changed any of these pairs. If we were being specific and we're not really rushing into anything, then this one would actually come off of the list. And then we'd really just focus on the ones that are mostly ready. The ones that are mostly ready are, what is EuroCAD doing? Okay, yeah, this one's still almost there. Okay, so let's go ahead and order these ones by what we think price is going to do, or what we're waiting for price to do. GBP CAD is going to be a 1-hour pullback or a 2-hour pullback, basically a lower time frame pullback into structure / area of interest. So that would be this one. So this would be probably at the top of the list. EuroCAD is going to be similar, but this one actually needs a lower time frame shift to structure and break and retest / break and retest of EMA. Now, lower time frame means whatever time frame below the 4-hour time frame that looks cleanest. So for me, lower time frames are usually between the 15-minute and the 2 hours. So 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour. These lowest time frames here on the 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute are for my scalping. I don't really use those for swing trading at all. But yeah, waiting for that break and retest there. That could take a little bit of time. This one, same exact thing, except for it's more of a 4-hour break and retest. We could do lower time frame / 4-hour break and retest of EMA / trend line. Okay, so that could be that for this one. Next is USD CAD. This one's going to be the same exact thing. Lower time frame / 4-hour break and retest of EMA / trend line. We're in the same boat here. I think most of the USD pairs are currently stuck in that same boat. AUD USD, we're just waiting for a 4-hour break and retest of EMA / market structure / area of interest. Okay, so you have multiple confluences lining up for this one. GBP USD, this is going to be a 4-hour break and retest. Wait, what? Did we not just... Okay, I guess that one was already marked up. Sick. So AUD USD is the same thing, and then GBP USD is break and retest of the EMA, market structure, and area of interest. Okay. Now, in terms of which order they go in, I would assume it's already in order. Lower time frame pullback. All we need is a pullback here. We need a lower time frame break and retest. Here it's a 4 hour break and retest. We just say 4 hour break and retest, 4 hour break and retest. Like the time frames get bigger as we go further down the list. In fact, GBP USD goes. Wait, what? Oh, okay. It circled back around to the one we were already in. So yeah, this is the last one because it needs the most to happen. 4 hour break and retest, 4 hour break and retest above for buys. And if you're new to these calls, if it's blue, it's buying. If it's red, it's selling. NZD CAD, we already went over. Euro CAD, waiting for that. Pull back, and then we are currently in this one. So that is basically it for today's call, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining. You guys are amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.